Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question that might shake your soul. Why are you here? Not here in this room or listening to this message, but here on this planet. What are you meant to do? What were you born for? Most people spend their whole lives avoiding that question, numbing it with entertainment, distractions, and endless busyness. But I believe you can start discovering your life purpose in just 5 minutes. There's a powerful truth, often ignored in the pursuit of purpose. The pain you feel deeply is not a weakness, it's a vow. It's a signal. What breaks your heart may actually be the doorway to your life's greatest calling. Most people think their purpose will come in a flash of inspiration or some mountaintop moment. They expect a divine revelation or a perfect roadmap laid out in front of them. But the reality is, your purpose often whispers to you through the things that make you uncomfortable, through the pain you see in the world that others ignore. Purpose isn't always born from pleasure. Often it's born from heartbreak. Think about it. When you hear about children going hungry, victims of abuse, people enslaved by addiction, or even just someone being bullied, what hits you hardest? What makes you feel like this isn't right? Somebody should do something about this. That somebody could be you. The world is filled with problems, but not all of them move you in the same way. That's not an accident. You were designed with a unique sensitivity. The things that disturb you most, that cause you to feel sadness, frustration, or anger, they're not random. They are clues. A teacher might find herself unable to stop thinking about underprivileged kids who fall through the cracks. A musician might feel gutted every time he hears of another young person who dies without ever getting to express their talent. A former addict might cry at night for people still stuck in the place they barely escaped. This is not just empathy. This is alignment. It's your soul nudging you toward a path that matters. Many people numb these emotions. They scroll past them, distract themselves, and move on. Why? Because heartbreak hurts. And in a world that teaches us to pursue comfort, we forget that growth, true, meaningful growth, often starts with discomfort. But ignoring that heartbreak doesn't make it go away. It just buries your purpose under layers of apathy. Who changed the world? Martin Luther King Jr. didn't wake up one day with a perfectly clear 10-step plan to end racial segregation. He saw injustice and couldn't look away. His heart was broken by the deep inequality and hate around him. That pain fueled a movement. That pain became purpose. Malala Yousafzai didn't seek the spotlight. She just wanted girls to be able to go to school in peace. But when she saw the injustice, the violence, the ignorance, she couldn't ignore it. What broke her heart transformed her into a global voice for education. You don't have to be famous or powerful to make a difference. But you do have to pay attention to what breaks you. What makes you weep might be what the world needs you to heal. You might think, but I'm just one person. I don't have the resources or the skills to solve a problem that big. But here's the truth. You're not asked to solve everything. You're asked to start somewhere. Your heartbreak is not a full blueprint. It's an invitation. An invitation to step forward and learn, to grow, to serve, and to become the person who can make a difference. You start small. Maybe you can't save every animal from abuse, but you can adopt one. Maybe you can't stop human trafficking across the globe, but you can donate, spread awareness, or volunteer locally. The point isn't to do everything. The point is to do something. And that something, however small, is how purpose begins to unfold. Also, heartbreak is personal. Two people can see the same tragedy and react in completely different ways. One may cry and move on. Another may be unable to sleep, obsessed with doing something to help. That difference is not weakness, it's calling. If you're the person who can't let it go, maybe that's because you weren't meant to. Maybe you were meant to lean in. Some people go through life never finding meaning because they only chase what feels good. They avoid discomfort, pain, and confrontation. But your purpose isn't always hiding in your passion. Sometimes it's hiding in your wounds. In fact, one of life's paradoxes is that the deeper your heartbreak, the greater your capacity for impact. Because when you've truly been touched by pain, your own or someone else's, you develop empathy, compassion, and courage. It can't be fate. Those are the raw materials of a meaningful life. So stop looking only for what excites you. Start noticing what hurts. Sit with it. Reflect on it. Ask yourself, why does this affect me so deeply? What part of me is being called into action? Then listen, because in that heartbreak there's a whisper, a voice that says you were born to do something about this. And if you follow it not with perfection, but with sincerity, you'll find more than just purpose. You'll find fulfillment. You'll find peace. You'll find the version of yourself you were always meant to become. And it starts with this: don't run from what breaks your heart. Run toward it. There's a quiet magic in watching someone do something they truly love. Their eyes light up, their energy shifts, and suddenly the room feels different, more alive, more electric. That's what happens when people operate from a place of passion. They aren't just existing, they're living. They aren't pushing through the day, they're pulled by something deeper. And if you want to know your life purpose, you must first discover what makes you come or makes you. In a world that teaches us to fit in, follow rules, and choose realistic careers, many people grow up suppressing their true income. As children, we naturally gravitate toward curiosity, imagination, and play. But somewhere along the way, we're taught to exchange wonder for practicality. We're told to pick a safe path, to be responsible, to pursue what pays the bills instead of what fuels the fire inside us. And as a result, millions walk through life like sleepwalkers, awake but not truly alive. But here's the truth: the things that bring you joy are not random. The things that energize you are not meaningless. They're clues, divine breadcrumbs leading you toward your life's mission. So what makes you come alive? Take a moment and ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you felt lit up? When you were doing something that didn't feel like work? Maybe it's when you were painting, writing, building, teaching, organizing, helping, speaking, or solving problems. Maybe you lost track of time. Maybe you didn't even want to stop. That's the feeling we chase, not because it's fun or easy, but because it's true. That kind of joy is rare. It doesn't just entertain you, it connects you to something bigger than yourselves. It's a signal. That's where your unique talent and the world's need begin to align. Coming alive doesn't mean you need to quit your job tomorrow or move to a mountaintop. It means you start paying attention to your inner spark. Maybe you love mentoring others. Maybe storytelling gives you life. Maybe designing, baking, or fixing things brings you satisfaction that nothing else does. These aren't hobbies to be dismissed, they're passions to be pursued. Some of the most successful people in history didn't follow a script, they followed what made them come alive. Steve Jobs wasn't chasing money when he built Apple in a garage. He was obsessed with design, beauty, and innovation. Maya Angelou wasn't just trying to make a living, she wrote because her soul demanded it. They lived with purpose because they honored what lit them up inside. But discovering what makes you come alive requires stillness and honesty. You have to turn down the noise of the world long enough to hear your own normal. That means unplugging from distractions. It means choosing curiosity over fear. It means daring to ask, what would I do even if I wasn't paid? What excites me so much that I'd wake up early to do it, even on a weekend? You see, passion isn't something you find on a list of job titles. It's something you find by looking inward. And once you find it, you don't need to beg for motivation. Passion becomes your fuel. Purpose becomes your compass. You stop chasing success and start living significance. And here's the beautiful part: what makes you come alive is often what makes you irreplaceable. It's your unique voice, your energy, your style, your perspective. That's the gift you bring to the world. That's what separates you from the crowd. Too many people think they need to find their purpose before they start living. But the truth is, you start living and your purpose revealing. The path becomes clearer as you move forward, not while standing still. So if something excites you, follow it. Explore it. Expand it. Even if it's messy. Even if it's scary. Even if others don't understand. Because purpose isn't found in comfort zones. It's found on the edge of curiosity and courage. Let's be honest, there will be voices telling you it's impractical, that you should do what's safe. But playing it safe often leads to a quiet kind of regret. The kind that builds slowly over the years until one day you ask yourself, what if I had listened to that little voice inside me? Don't let that be your story. Choose aliveness over approval. Choose energy over ease. Because when you do what makes you come alive, you become magnetic. People notice. Opportunities flow. doors open. And most importantly, you feel like you. Life isn't meant to be endured, it's meant to be experienced. You were not put on this earth to pay bills and die. You were made to create, to contribute, to grow, to serve. And the first step to doing that is to honor what stirs your soul. So if you want to know your life purpose, start with this simple but powerful question. What makes me come alive? And then go do more of that. Not someday. Not when it's convenient. Not when you have it all figured out. Start now. Because the world doesn't just need more efficient workers or responsible adults. The world needs more people who have come alive. And that person is already inside you. Purpose is never fully about you. It begins within you, but it doesn't end there. The clearest sign that you are walking in your life's purpose is that someone else's life is better because you showed up. If you want to know your purpose, don't just ask, what do I want from life? Ask, who needs me? Because your life is not just about what you get, it's about what you give. Every person on this planet is wired for service. Deep down, we all want to matter. We want to make a difference. And the truth is, we were born with unique gifts, not for our own applause, but for the benefit of others. Purpose always finds its highest expression in service. So ask yourself, who do I feel called to help? This is not about being a hero or a savior. It's about empathy. It's about resonance. It's about connection. Somewhere in this world there's a group of people, maybe large, maybe small, who need exactly what you have, your story, your perspective, your energy, your strength, your compassion. And when you discover who they are, you begin to move from self-centered ambition to selfless contribution. That's where the real transformation happens. Maybe you've experienced deep pain in your life. Maybe you've come through a difficult season, abuse, addiction, poverty, rejection, loss. That pain wasn't pointless. Often the people we're called to serve are those who are where we used to be. That's why your scars are sacred. They remind you that healing is possible, and they give you the credibility that others heal to. The single mother who struggled for years may feel pulled to mentor other women going through the same battle. The teenager who once faced bullying may one day stand up for kids who feel invisible. The man who wrestled with depression may feel called to speak life into others drowning in silence. Our mess becomes our message, and our tests become our testimony. You don't have to be famous to serve. You don't need a title or platform or flawless spotlight. You just need awareness. Open your eyes and look around. Who do you notice? Who do you notice? Who do you feel drawn to support, protect, or lift up? Maybe it's young people who've lost direction. Maybe it's elderly people who feel forgotten. Maybe it's creative minds who've been told their dreams don't matter. Whoever it is, that's a clue to your purpose. Your purpose isn't always tied to solving big global problems. Sometimes it's local. Sometimes it's personal. Sometimes it's simply showing up for the people others overlook. There is someone out there waiting for your light. Someone who feels hopeless and your story gives them strength. Someone who feels stuck and your experience helps them move. You might not even realize the impact you're making, but trust this, your life has ripple effects far beyond what you can see. And here's the beautiful irony. The more you give, the more you grow. The more you serve others, the more your own purpose unfolds. Fulfillment doesn't come from success alone. It comes from significance, knowing that your presence made someone's life just a little bit better. So take time to reflect. Whose pain can you understand? Whose voice can you amplify? Whose burden can you help carry? Don't worry about being perfect, just be present. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give is your time, your attention, or your belief in someone who has stopped believing in themselves. If you're unsure where to start, begin small. Volunteer, mentor, listen, support a cause you care about. Watch how your heart responds. Purpose is often found in motion, not in waiting. You may not have all the answers now, but every act of service brings you one step closer to clarity. The world is full of people chasing self-glory, self-gratification, and self-interest. But those who leave the deepest legacy are the ones who chose to abide earth. Think of people like Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, or Martin Luther King Jr. Their names are remembered not because they chased fame, but because they chose service. They knew who they were here for, and they gave everything they had for that mission. You may not change the whole world, but you can change someone's world. And sometimes that's enough, because purpose isn't always found in the grand gesture. It's found in the quiet decision to love, to serve, to show up when it matters. So if you want to know your life's purpose, look beyond the mirror. Look into the eyes of those you feel compassion. Look into the hearts of those whose struggle you understand. That is where your calling begins. That is where meaning lies. The people you're meant to serve are waiting not for someone perfect, not for someone with all the answers, but for someone real, someone willing to care, someone willing to care. When people talk about finding their life purpose, they often look for one big answer, one defining moment that will change everything. But in truth, purpose isn't a single event. It's a combination, a powerful fusion of what you love, what's broken your heart, and who you're here to help. If you want to find your purpose, don't look for just one of those elements. Bring them all together. Purpose lies at the intersection of your passion, your pain, and your service. Your passion is what lights you up. It's the thing you could talk about for hours without getting bored. It's what makes you feel alive, excited, and deeply engaged. It could be writing, speaking, coaching, leading, building, creating, designing, healing, design, organizing. You don't choose your passion chooses you. It grabs hold of you and whispers, this is what you were born to do. But passion alone isn't enough. Passion gives you energy, but not always direction. You can be passionate about many things but still feel lost. That's where pain comes in. The pain you've endured, whether it was betrayal, rejection, failure, grief, abuse, or abandon, can become a compass for your calling, not because the pain was fair or deserved, but because it shaped you. It gave you insight, resilience, and empathy that others don't have. Pain carves out the depth of your character and shows you what matters most. Often the thing that hurts you the most is the very thing you're meant to help heal in others. And then there's service, the final and most important piece. If you only chase passion, you might end up focused on yourself. If you only dwell on pain, you might stay stuck in the past. But when you add service, when you ask, how can I use this to help someone else? You unlock the true power of purpose. You take your gifts and your wounds and you offer them to the world. That's when transformation happens, not just for others, but for you too. Imagine this like a triangle. On one side you have passion, the energy that fuels you. On the second side you have pain, the experiences that shape you. On the third side you have service, the people you're called to impact. When all three connect, purpose is formed at the center. Think about people who've made a real difference. They didn't just stumble into it. They followed what they loved. They faced what they'd been through, and they found people who needed what they had. A recovering addict becomes a counselor. A survivor of childhood trauma becomes an advocate. A teacher who once struggled in school becomes the voice for students who feel left behind. These stories aren't rare, they're real. They're happening every day by people who chose to turn their mess into meaning. But this doesn't happen passively. You have to do the work of reflection. Ask yourself, what do I love so much I'd do it for free? What pain have I experienced that I never want others to feel? Who do I feel drawn to help? When you write the answers down, patterns begin to emerge. That's where you start connecting the dots. You may realize that your love for writing, your experience of feeling invisible as a child, and your passion for helping teens find their voice all point to one clear direction, becoming a youth mentor or author. Or maybe your passion is entrepreneurship. Your pain is growing up in poverty, and your desire is to empower others financially. Suddenly, your purpose begins to take shape. And here's the beautiful thing, it doesn't have to be big to be meaningful. You don't need millions of followers, a best-selling book, or a viral video. Your purpose might show up in your own neighborhood, in your workplace, in your community. Don't underestimate the power of showing up with authenticity, love, and intention. You may not figure it all out in one day, but you can start living on purpose today. Begin by doing more of what excites you. Start speaking about the things that matter to you. Serve one person, then another, then another. Purpose grows as you grow. It's not about having a perfect plan. It's about being willing to step into the unknown, guided by what feels true. Remember, passion without pain can lack depth. Pain without passion can feel heavy, and service without either can feel empty. But when you combine all three, you create something powerful, lasting, and deeply human. You create a life that not only fulfills you, but also blesses others. So don't choose between them. Don't ask, should I follow my passion, heal my pain, or serve others? The answer is yes to all three. Because your purpose isn't a single piece. It's a masterpiece made up of all your parts, the good, the bad, the joyful, and the broken. Let your passion be your fuel. Let your pain be your guide. Let your service be your gift. That's how you step into the life you were born to live. Sometimes the world whispers to you before it applauds you. It gives you small signals before it gives you big stages. And one of the most powerful signals is simple, subtle, and easy to overlook. Gratitude. What are people consistently thanking you for? What do they always come to you for help with? The answers to those questions hold one of the most direct clues to your life's purpose. We tend to think purpose is something hidden deep inside us that we must extract by force. But often purpose isn't hidden, it's reflected. It shows up in our interactions. It reveals itself in the impact we have on others. You may not have figured out your purpose yet, but someone else might have felt it. They felt it when you encouraged them. They felt it when you gave them clarity, helped them solve a problem, or listened when no one else would. And they thanked you not just for what you did, but for how you made them feel. The compliments you shrug off might be the clearest signs of your gift. Someone says, you always know what to say. Another says, I feel so much better after talking to you. Someone else might say, you're the only one I can come to for this. And because it comes naturally to you, you don't even notice it. But that's the point. Your gift will feel normal to you, but powerful to others. This is why it's so important to stop and pay attention. Not to your ego, but to the feedback life has already given you. You might not realize how much people value your perspective, your calm energy, your organization, your insight, or your creativity. But if multiple people are thanking you for the same thing, it's not a coincidence. It's a calling. There's a reason why people trust you in certain areas. There's a reason why they lean on you for support, advice, direction, or inspiration. These thank yous are more than just good manners. They are recognition. They are little confirmations that you're showing up in alignment with who you really are. And they're telling you, keep going. You're on the right track. The truth is, many people dismiss their gift because it comes easily to them. They assume it can't be special because it doesn't feel like work. But the very thing you think is just normal might be extraordinary to someone else. Your ability to stay calm under pressure, make people laugh, organize chaos, or explain complicated ideas in simple ways, these are all gifts. And people are likely already affirming them if you'll just take the time to listen. Think back over your life. What have people always appreciated about you? What compliments have been consistent, even from different people in different seasons? Maybe your teachers told you you were wise beyond your years. Maybe friends said you always made them feel safe. Maybe co-workers said you were the glue that held the team together. These aren't just kind words. These are reflections of who you are when you are at your best, when you are in your element. And here's something even more powerful. When your purpose aligns with what people thank you for, you don't have to force success. Opportunities will begin to find you. People will recommend you, refer you, and remember you not because you're trying to be someone else, but because you've stepped fully into who you already are. You won't need to beg for attention. Your impact will speak for itself. The results of your authentic service will become your reputation. That's what happens when you stop chasing someone else's dream and start embracing your own design. But to do that, you must get quiet enough to hear the subtle feedback. Write it down. Reflect on it. And don't downplay it. If 5 people thanked you in the last month for your encouragement, don't dismiss it, explore it. Maybe you're meant to be a coach, a speaker, a teacher, a counselor. If people always thank you for organizing or solving problems, maybe your gift lies in strategy or systems. If you're constantly complimented for your writing, your empathy, or your leadership, those are signs worth following. It's also helpful to ask. Reach out to a few people you trust and respect and ask them, just, Or what do you think people come to me for the most? You'll be surprised how quickly people see things in you that you've taken for granted. They'll point to your light, even when you've been living in its shadow. Your life purpose isn't something you achieve. It's something you align with. And part of that alignment is recognize value you already bring to the people around you. You don't need a certificate or a massive following to matter. If your words, your presence, your gifts have helped even one person, that matters. And if it's helped many, that's a sign. So stop looking only inward. Look outward. Pay attention to the echoes of your impact. And when someone says, "Thank you," don't just smile and move on. Ask yourself, why did that matter to them? What did I just do that made a difference? Purpose leaves footprints in gratitude. Follow them. One of the greatest myths about discovering your life purpose is that you need to figure it all out before you start. You sit, you wait, you overthink, you journal, you research, you pray, you hesitate. You tell yourself you'll act once you're 100% sure. But here's the truth. You don't find clarity by standing still. You find it by moving. Purpose isn't something you think your way into, it's something you walk your way into. You will never have every answer before you begin. You will never have perfect conditions, full confidence, or a guaranteed outcome. And that's okay. Because your purpose isn't revealed in theory, it's revealed in action. Every step you take, every risk you embrace, every attempt you make, whether it works or not, teaches you something. And over time, that learning becomes direction. That direction becomes alignment. That alignment becomes purpose. Action is the doorway to clarity. You may not know if you're meant to be a speaker, a coach, a designer, a mentor, or a leader, but you'll never know by staying on the sidelines. You've got to try. You've got to show up. Say yes to the opportunity. Volunteer. Create something. Help someone. Teach what you know. Share what you've lived through, even if it's small, even if you're scared, even if it's messy, especially if it's messy. Because clarity doesn't come from comfort, it comes from courage. Some of the most successful, purpose-driven people in the world didn't start out with a master plan. They started with a small step. Steve Jobs didn't know Apple would become a global empire. He just started building computers in his garage. Oprah Winfrey didn't know she would become a media mogul. She just kept showing up as a talk show host day after day, driven by a desire to uplift people. They didn't wait to find their purpose. They created it, one action at a time. You're not supposed to have it all mapped out. Life is not a straight line. It's a winding road with detours, dead ends, and divine redirections. You try something, and it teaches you. You go somewhere, and it shapes you. You help someone, and it changes you. Every time you move, the path becomes clearer. But if you don't move, you stay stuck in the fog of indecision. Clarity comes from doing, not from overthinking, not from overplanning, not from waiting for the perfect moment. There's no perfect moment. There's only now. And the longer you wait for certainty, the more life passes you by. So give yourself permission to explore, permission to experiment, permission to try, fail, learn, adjust, and grow. That's not failure, it's feedback. Every wrong move teaches you what's right for you. Every detour reveals a deeper truth. Every mistake shows you something about your gift, your limits, your desires, your values. You don't have to take massive leaps. Start small. Want to inspire people? Post one video. Want to write a book? Start with one page. Want to mentor others? Help one person? That first step will teach you more than months of overthinking ever worth there. There's something powerful that happens when you take action. You start to trust yourself. You build confidence, not from theory, but from lived experience. You realize you can survive discomfort, navigate uncertainty, and learn on the go. That confidence becomes fuel. That fuel becomes momentum. And momentum creates breakthroughs. Some of the most purpose-driven paths begin with a simple question: what can I do right now with what I have? Not someday, not when you're ready. Now, with the skills you have, the story you've lived, the people around you. Purpose isn't found in the future. It's built in the present. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more willing people, willing to try. Willing to serve, willing to learn, willing to act, willing to show up, even when it's scary or uncertain. Because in the showing up, the answers come. I don't underestimate what one step can lead to. That one phone call. That one meeting. That one blog post. That one yes. It could be the domino that changes everything. You won't see it until you move. But once you do, life starts opening doors you didn't even know existed. And yes, action is risky. It requires faith. But so does inaction. Because if you do nothing, you risk missing your moment. You risk wasting your gift. You risk looking back one day and realizing you let fear write your story. But that doesn't have to be your story. Your story can be one of movement, one of courage, one of purpose discovered through the doing. So whatever you're feeling pulled toward, take a step. Start the project. Have the conversation. Share your voice. Make the move. Don't wait for clarity to show up. Go meet it. Walk toward your calling with what you have today, and trust that each step will show you the next. Because your purpose isn't found in thinking. It's found in the action you're afraid to take. Take that step now. Now.